Hey, today video, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. It's about updates, life in the Philippines, robbery, thievery, life in the Philippines, getting repairs done. A lot of topics today. I want to go through all these. And we have some new arrivals coming in. They've just run. Johnny Barb's here, Johnny B's here, BT's here. I mean, a lot of guys are coming in the Philippines. Shout out to all the wonderful guys coming in. Rick Morse here, so thank you guys. Stay tuned. You know, a lot of times too, the guys coming in, we've talked about this many times. I just want to just briefly touch on it. I'm not going to touch on it anymore. I had a friend that came in. He's been here. He's been here since February. Out in the street, walking down the street. Went in an area, got robbed. You have to always be aware of what's going on with yourself. Always be aware of what's going on behind you. Things like that. During these times, a lot of that's going on. It's just been going on all the time. A lot of times I just don't report it. But today I want to report that. He's a good friend too. They end up getting his wallet, about 30,000 peso. That was his wallet, 30,000 for emergency, and then he had some more money in this pocket. But they ended up getting his wallet. You have to be aware of where you're going, what you're doing, what streets is good. And he had his wife with him, and there was another family member with him. That doesn't mean anything. But anyway, I want to talk about that out. Charlie, please be safe there in Bohol. It happens to everybody. I think Philly just did one. Somebody got robbed. I think he did a video 10 hours ago. Somebody got robbed. I don't know the extent of it. I'm going to watch it when I get done here. Also, coming to the Philippines, you want to be, and it doesn't matter where you're at. I don't care if you're in Manila. I don't care if you're in Bohol, Naga, Palawan, Boracay. It's going to happen. Here where I'm at, it's going to happen. It's just one of those things that you're going to have happen to you. He said that it had him went down the street, and he thought it was okay, just a normal street. Many people on the street. They grabbed him, pulled him in, and it happened within 50 seconds. It was gone. They didn't attempt his wife's pocketbook or anything. But just be aware. I seen an incident in Davao one time like that. Actually, seen more than one. And they're in the mall, and they'll get you in the mall. So just be aware. Things like phones, wallets, purses. Don't pull out a wad of money. If you're going to do anything, keep like Steve Montelli said, keep a few hundred here in one pocket. That's your money to pull out for taxes and things like that. Other money elsewhere, in a belt, in your wallet, in a zip pocket, in not necessarily in your wife's purse either. They could take that really in 2 seconds. Getting things done here in the Philippines, we often have a hard time, and I just want to touch about this. I don't always sound negative about the Philippines, but I'm just letting people be aware. I mean, Filipina P, old dog. Many of the guys did videos on this, but if you're coming here and you need something done, just be prepared. If you have a type A personality like me, it may take longer than you think. And you have to have the patience. So if you have a plumbing issue, you can't find a phone number. There's no phone number available. You have to go to town and search around and to find a plumber. And ask the plumbing department. There's no plumbing departments here. So if you need a plumber, which I don't need, my friend has a problem plumbing in Valencia, and he asked me if I knew a plumber. Well, no. And somebody said, you need a welder. Well, luckily we have somebody in our family who's a welder. But things like that, you're going to have a time getting things done. You may have to go to town, walk around for a while. In other words, just plan a day of doing that. Another thing I want to talk about is, sorry all this negative stuff, but since tourists are coming in, everybody's grabbing dollars. Friends came in on CDO, got a taxi out of the airport to CDO, it's about 45 minutes to an hour. The guy said, okay, it's 400 or 500 peso. Okay, that's fine. $10. He gets there and he tells him, he says, no, it's going to be more than that. So they get an argument, this, that, and another, and it's a meter taxi. Get an argument. The American friend takes, I always told these guys this, take a picture of his name and all that stuff. The guy's trying to extort him 1,000 peso. Long story short, he ended up just paying what was owed, and the guy was calling the cops. You have to be very careful with that. If the guy calls the cops, let him call the cops. Look at the rate on the meter. You have to deal with that. Another thing you have to worry about now, a new law just enacted here in the Philippines. It's called Act 113, and it's disrespectful to Filipinas. It's a new law, came into effect recently. I was thinking today, but recently, that if you're rude or if you make any kind of sexual advancements to a female, or any kind of sexual or rude to a female, she can actually bring a case against you. Now that's going to open up a lot of issues in the Philippines with jealousy. It's going to greed, ex-boyfriend, girlfriends. It's going to open up. It's like somebody saying he said, she said, he said. So you're going to have that. And this new law really is going to affect a lot of foreigners. It's going to if a guy has a girl he met and he is making sexual advancements, or if he's not doing anything at all, she can bring a case against him. If a case comes against you at any time here in the Philippines, you're gone. They put what they call a smudge. It's a smudge. It's a fingerprint. When they go the wrong eye, make a case against you. Don't think that you can get on the other side of the fence and everything's going to be fine and dandy. Meaning, I'll hire an attorney. Okay, hire an attorney. They call it skin tax. It's going to hit you. I'm just telling you guys, be very careful on your words, who you talk to, and what you say when you're here in the Philippines, because you don't realize if that lady gets insult, if her feelings get hurt, or something is wrong, she can bring a case against you. Now, this was done by the Filipino men in the government, did this new law. And this new law, in its foothold it's going to be a lot of people, and it's going to affect a lot. And it's going to affect a lot of foreigners, especially in the bars, especially in places that you might say something as a joke, as American humor. We take it as a joke, but they're going to take it another way. And if they take it another way and take it seriously, you could be in trouble. Before, they just let it go. There's nothing anybody can do other than say, I'm going to bring a case against that foreign guy. But now they can. So it's Act 113. You can look it up. There's a big article on Inquirer on it. How I found out about it was through my friend who got robbed. He's telling you, hey, did you hear about the new law? No, I did not. And apparently there's a new law that any Filipina can bring a case against anybody, any man, for sexual harassment, any kind of sexual talk, being rude, being arrogant, being boastful in a way that draws negativity towards that girl or woman. Be prepared. And since they're creating these new laws, there's a lot of things going on. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of things happening in the Philippines. It is great for personality. If you have a type B or C personality, type A personality like me, it can just drive you insane. And what I mean, you read the news and you get like discouraged, or you read it. And I'm such a done deal guy. If I decided I'm going to go to the mall, I'm going to go to the mall. I'm not going to hem-haw around, and I'll figure out a way to go to the mall. I'm like that, and I'll speak to anybody and I'll talk to anybody. But I see things starting to change a little bit, good and bad. Great, wonderful country, still a great place to come. Let's face it, if we had a choice, will we still be here? If we still had, and I did this video yesterday, will we still come if the income level was reduced in the United States? For an example, if you could find a place to live on your potential income that you have here, whatever that is, if whatever that income is here, could you live in the U.S. if you could live on that in the U.S., would you move? Most guys said yes, because healthcare is an issue. People, And people say, well, it's really not an issue. Well, it's going to be an issue whenever you have an issue. And the only reason that woke me up was we've had an issue. So, as you know, there's a couple of guys going back to the States for operations. One's going to Guam. My friend just went to Guam. His appendix, had a problem with his appendix. Ended up going to Guam to have his appendix taken out. Did not trust the doctors here. Their failure rate was too high. This was up in San Fernando. So his failure rate was too high. Well, how many operations you done? How many were successful? And so there was more unsuccessful than successful. And so you kind of have to be, if it's broke bones and things like that, it's fine. But not, you just plan on that. Another thing I want to talk about is when you're living here in the Philippines and you find yourself in a situation you want to have something worked on. Your vehicle, say, or you got something's wrong with your motorcycle. Just plan for it to be next month. Not really, but it's not going to get fixed in a day. It's not like taking it down to Goodyear and have it done in a day. If you have a problem at Toyota, take it back there. You know, you think you get it fixed. And in my instance, luckily I have somebody's mechanic that I can take to, and he fixes the car no matter what the problem is. I can have it back the next day. But there were times where I had the car before and it was not fixed. It was a simple fix. It took 3 or 4 days to get it fixed, and it was just basically changing out plugs and changing oil in it, just normal service. So was he too busy? I don't know. It didn't seem to be, but maybe he got busier after I was there, but didn't end up taking it. So you kind of have to plan for things like that. If you don't have patience, just be prepared to find a way to find it, because you'll get really disgusted and frustrated really fast here. And I'm starting to see a lot of the guys in their rides. Well, I really don't have a problem with here. I've been here for 13 years. And then him telling me that, and then write me an email that, oh yeah, I have a problem now, and I agree with you, my electricity's been out now all of a sudden. Now, never had a problem with electricity. Now it's out 3 times this past week. I'm going back to the States. And people that don't have that happen, it's okay, but you got to be able to deal with it. If you can't deal with running water, hot water at every faucet in your house, or a bucket with a scoop to take a shower, you might have a problem. Not every house has that, but 60-70% or more where I live has that. And I just made an American shower with a hot water tank on it. One of those tankless setups. And so I have hot water there. It's the only place I have hot water. So you'd have to buy a whole unit for the kitchen and one for another room or whatever. We don't have any hot water in that house over there, just in this house in one room in the shower. But there are simple ways you could fix that. But it's like, here you go again. Finding a plumber, finding this, finding that to get things done. We had a hard time finding somebody to fix this aircon. It took us a while to find a good refrigerator guy. We found one. He'll come around. He may not come around the day. It may take him 3, 4, 5, 6 days to get there. But let me tell you something. You better have a backup, because when it gets hot here. When the aircon is off and there's no power, it gets hot. I don't have my solar on this, but it gets hot fast. So you're going to be sweating bullets. That's about it today. I wanted to talk about those few things. I think there's a couple more that I forgot, but I see the video's already at 13 minutes. And I don't want to drag on, but I want to talk about that. Please be careful when you're out and about. Watch your surroundings. Be careful on getting robbed. You may have a potential. I had a situation where Ruth and I saw that I was going to get robbed. As you know, Rique got robbed. Mike, my Philippine journey, got robbed. There's many of the guys that are vloggers have gotten robbed, and beaten. There was one guy in Cebu. I'm not going to say his name. He's a good vlogger. Got beaten as he's doing his walkabouts. It's not Chris. It's another guy, and he was doing his walkabouts, and he had his camera on. And I often told Chris, "Be careful where you go and what you do." But Chris is going a perfect path. Have his paths. Good vlogger, Chris in Cebu. So you guys don't know him, check him out. But he got robbed. Not Chris, this guy, but another guy, and they took his phone, his gimbal, a couple other things, his hat. I think he's trying to think of a couple other things. And these are grown men that's doing this. It's not like they're gangs. They're just gangs. They're their version of gangs. But listen, guys, they've been around. Gangs have been around here for a long time, and they're not just Filipino gangs. There's other groups of gangs. But I want to talk about that. Thank you, everybody, for always watching my videos, and thank you for spending your valuable time today. God bless everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.